Well, welcome everyone. We're going to give everyone a few more moments to join us and then we'll get started shortly. All right, Katie, it looks like it's 8:32 and we can get started. I'm excited for my first hosting of the event here today. I think it's an awesome event to have a coffee chat with you all, and Katie's done a great job. So without further ado, my name is Gary Clark, and I want to thank you all for joining us today. I am the president and CEO of Economic Alliance, and so I'm really excited to join your community. This is my first time actually being in office, so I am extremely excited. And to see some of the faces and names is really, really comforting. With that being said, though, I want to thank all the elected officials who have joined us today. Without you, we could not get many things done legislatively and locally, so we really appreciate your time. A little housekeeping for everyone, though. Please engage us using the chat. And during the program, that'll be your opportunity to ask questions or engage. Okay, folks, drum roll. We have a special guest here today. We have John Harlow with Snohomish County PUD here to provide us with a state of utility. As most of you have seen throughout the last month or so, there's been some very interesting questions and needs based on that. But let's dive a little deeper into John's work. The PUD delivers electricity to more than 360,000 customers in Snohomish County and Camano Island, and water to more than 22,000 customers. Appointed by its Board of Commissioners in October 2018, John is the CEO, General Manager of Snohomish County PUD. He joined the PUD in February 2017 as the Assistant General Manager of Distribution and Engineering Services, bringing nearly 30 years of experience in the electric utility industry. At Economic Alliance, we appreciate John's engagement and leadership on our Board of Trustees. John, from the Hoosier State, take it away.
Hey, thanks very much, Gary. Good morning, everyone. Gary, it is great to have you here as part of the Economic Alliance. As Gary mentioned, my name is John Harlow, and I am the CEO General Manager for Snohomish County PUD. And I also have the pleasure of serving on the Board of Trustees for the EASC. And first off, I'd like to thank the Economic Alliance for giving the PUD this platform and the opportunity to tell our story. I believe the PUD does have a great story to tell and even brag a bit on our wonderful employees and our commitment to serving our customers and engaging in our communities. I'd also like to thank you, everyone, for joining today. I understand this state of utility presentation has been talked about for years, and I'm happy that we finally have the opportunity to get in front of all of you to talk about the amazing things happening at the PUD. A little of my background, I came to the Pacific Northwest about 4 years ago from New Mexico. I'm originally from the Midwest, central Illinois specifically, and lived in Indiana for a little over 8 years prior to moving to New Mexico. So Gary, I know all about the adjustments coming from the Midwest to the Pacific Northwest, in my case, by way of New Mexico. But I am delighted to say that my wife, daughter, and I feel this is the best part of the country to live in. And Our son, daughter-in-law, and 2-year-old grandson just a week and a half ago moved from Houston, Texas to Pullman. My son is now working for Washington State University in the athletic department. So go Cougs. And they got out of Texas and away from the rolling blackouts just in time. So I'm going to admit right up front that I am a utility geek. I've been going at this and worked in this industry for going on 35 years. And this truly is an exciting time to be in the energy utility sector. Clean energy innovations, new technology projects, electric vehicles, we are dealing with all of it. And in collaboration with our customers and communities, we have the opportunity to put our fingerprints all over what your Snohomish County and Camino Island utility of the future can look like. As CEO, it is my privilege to be able to watch our amazing Team PUD family do their job day in and day out and continually raise the bar on how we can better serve our customers, improve reliability, identify more efficient ways to operate the business, move boldly forward on our environmental sustainability efforts, and continue to elevate our community engagement, all of which aligns with and supports our motto of energizing life in our communities. Our focus is on being very good at the blocking and tackling of running a utility and leveraging the phenomenal talent and experience we have at the PUD to continue to innovate and improve how we operate. We not only light up homes around the county, but we engage every day with our neighbors, our friends, and our business leaders just like you. So just a little background. Our origin is born from an initiative spurred on by the people of Snohomish County. 85 years ago, they voted to create the PUD to serve a greater need, and specifically bring power and water to the rural areas beyond the city lights. And we are a public power utility, and the public part is especially significant to me. It means we are owned by our customers and we serve them with that in mind. We are not profit motivated. Instead, our rates are set up to recoup the costs of delivering power and water to our customers. Now, I'm not going to badmouth investor-owned utilities, but each of the previous utilities I worked for were all investor-owned. And my personal preference is to work in the public power world. I love the public power model where we focus on 3 key stakeholders: our customers, our communities, and our employees. And it is supporting and serving those 3 stakeholders that drives our decisions and our actions. The cornerstone of our values is the health, safety, and well-being of our employees, our customers, and our communities. And we truly believe that's what matters most. And one of the primary tenets of my leadership philosophy is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And we are building a culture based on the belief that creating an environment where each and every one of our employees feels valued and welcomed, and where they can safely bring their full self to work and utilize their talent, experiences, and creativity, and they can make a positive contribution to the success of the PUD, we can and we will achieve greatness on behalf of our customers and the communities we serve. And we are well on our way. The main pillars that make up the foundation of our mission are simple and straightforward. It is to safely deliver power and water that provides exceptional value to our customers and communities, and that is reliable and environmentally sustainable. Again, our motto is energizing life in our communities. And community engagement is of profound significance and a key focus to our commissioners, our leadership, and our employees. And the PUD is a leader in clean energy. Over the past 5 years, the PUD's fuel mix has been made up of, on average, more than 98% clean resources. The Bonneville Power Administration and the federally owned Columbia River Power System was built with the belief that significant investments in infrastructure could serve Pacific Northwest families for generations. And we are a beneficiary of that vision today as Bonneville Power's largest customer. Bonneville Power supplies approximately 80 to 85% of our power. And the bulk of that power is clean hydro. Now, our history shapes our present. The foundation of our strategic priorities is our public power values. I think we want to move up one slide. There you go. Thank you, Laura. To start with customer experience, our goal is to delight our customers with every interaction, whether that is through a phone call from a customer trying to understand their bill, a senior citizen or income challenged customer who is needing some help, whether that is when your power is out and the lineman shows up to restore your power, or with a customer engineer when you're needing a new service. In any and all ways, when our customers need help, when they need information, we want them to walk away from that experience and say, wow, I am so glad the PUD is our electric and water utility. They are absolutely the best. Regarding fiscal responsibility, and we will talk more about financial management in some upcoming slides, but we are working to change the narrative a bit around rates, costs, affordability, which is a term we have historically used and most of our peers do. And for most customers, each of those terms are relative. What we want our customers to realize, and most importantly feel, is that their power and water bills are an exceptional value. That what they pay for 98% carbon-free power that is available 99.98% of the time, and that when they do have a question or issue, we are fantastic to work with, that their PUD bill is absolutely worth it, and it's a great deal. Talking about delivering now and tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier, this is an exciting and challenging time to be in the electric and water industry. The pace in which many states want to achieve a zero carbon future may be ahead of the pace in which we have adequate, cost-effective, and reliable carbon-free resources, renewable or other. And couple that with the continued growth of electric vehicles and further electrification efforts that will increase the demand for the electricity, it's causing us to take a fresh and very opportunistic view of what the utility of the future needs to look like. And we are absolutely playing offense in this regard. We have already engaged with utility scale battery storage technologies, and we're deploying, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to shut these blinds here a little bit. We are absolutely playing offense, and we have started deploying our next battery at our Arlington microgrid that will now couple our community solar project with battery storage. And one of the other major steps for us and our customers towards the future is our Connect Up project with the deployment of new technology metering, which will be a cornerstone for us to enable extraordinary capabilities, both for our customers to better manage their energy use and potentially lower their bills, and for us, the PUD, to offer better rate schedules, demand response options, improve integration of the distribution or the distributed energy resources, which is rooftop solar and electric vehicles, to improve reliability, to continue our focus on building a sustainable environment. The list of benefits goes on. And about our Team PUD. I've already talked a little about our Team PUD culture. And one of the things that I am immensely proud of is watching our folks step up and engage in extraordinary ways to make the PUD better, both in operational performance and how we are serving our customers and communities. We have a laser-like focus on continuous improvement, and we realize that the folks closest to the action, those on the front line, see and experience the issues that hinder their ability to get work done effectively. And it is those folks that in most cases have the best ideas on how to address issues and or improve the operation. And I'm so impressed with the level of engagement and the overwhelming sense of ownership and accountability our PUD folks have and continue to demonstrate on a daily basis. And it's not just strictly from an operational perspective. It includes how we best serve our customers and continue to elevate our engagement and support in the communities. Before I get to our current financial position, I want to and how we responded to the pandemic, I wanted to share a simple graphic showing where our ratepayer dollars go. Every dollar we collect supports key programs, services, and projects to make the electric system more reliable, more environmentally sustainable, and safer. Half of our revenue or cost go to the power we supply to our customers. And that includes power purchase from Bonneville Power Administration, running our own hydroelectric projects like the Jackson Hydro Project, and the costs associated with the transmission of that power from the Bonneville Power generating resources to the PUD electric grid. Another quarter goes back into programs that help fish and wildlife in Snohomish County, all the grid maintenance for our system, including things such as tree trimming, and the majority of storm or outage restoration costs. And then for programs such as our income qualified assistance. The 14 cents you see for capital expenses is the PUD investing in infrastructure to maintain a reliable system, provide for system expansion to meet capacity needs as building development continues to sprawl out in our communities, and our investments for our utility of the future. And that 3% for energy efficiency, I know that seems like a small amount on this graphic, but keep in mind that's approximately $20 million. And that's a sizable investment in our communities and for our customers that helps our environmental sustainability efforts, helps to keep costs low, and benefits our customers who see lower bills and cozier homes. Historically, the PUD has been extremely diligent in ensuring we are in a strong financial position for our customers and owners by prudently managing costs, working to minimize rate increases, and effectively managing our bond or capital financing. A couple of the highlights that has gotten us to our current strong financial position. One, through our continual improvement efforts and the diligence of PUD staff, we've been able to identify and drive process efficiencies, improve work and project management practices, and better utilize resources. We have also significantly increased our use of data and analytics, which is in large part the foundation to our continuous improvement efforts and the ability to identify opportunities and use that data and information to drive better decision making. And it's the employees engaged in these continuous improvement efforts that in large part has gotten us to the good place we are today. And our credit ratings are strong. We have affirmed both Fitch and Moody's in September, despite the pandemic. The PUD ended 2020 in a very strong financial position, which allowed us to avoid a rate increase for the 4th consecutive year. All of these efforts have put us in an excellent position to leverage employee engagement, our technology capabilities, our data analytics, and our continuous improvement culture to ensure your PUD will remain strong and has the financial stability to move into the future as one of the best managed utilities in the country. So I want to spend just a few minutes discussing the impacts of the pandemic. Overall, we saw minimal impact on our electric and water revenue. There was an increase in residential energy consumption due to the work and school at home, which by and large offset the reduction in commercial and industrial use. And the residential increase was further impacted given that Snohomish County is somewhat of a bedroom community to Seattle, with approximately 40% of our Snohomish County residents commuting into King County prior to the pandemic. And as of December 31st, 2020, we had approximately 20,000 PUD customers who were considered in distress, which is approximately 4 times the normal arrearage or aging accounts. But over the past several months, our customer service team, and specifically our customer service representatives, have done an outstanding job of reaching out to customers to help get them set up on payment plans that best meet their needs. And I'll chat a little more on this topic in the coming slide. To minimize the financial impacts, we took a hard look at every cost center and every project and reprioritized in an effort to find places where we could either reduce costs and or defer costs, such as projects and programs. We delayed or removed some of our vacant FTE positions, had a shift of training to online instead of in person. And as I'm sure many of you are experiencing, the working from home has also brought potential cost saving opportunities for future facility needs. And in fact, we are undergoing a complete reevaluation of facility needs, which will potentially lead to some further cost savings. So very early on in the pandemic, our attention turned to our customers and our communities. And first and foremost, it was about health and safety. For our customers, our communities, and our employees, we really focus, and their families, on their health and safety. We closed our walk-in facilities across the county. We pulled our crews and meter readers out of the field, and we moved over 700 of our approximately 1,150 employees to work from home. And I have to take a minute to mention that our IT division was absolutely amazing and how fast and effectively they stood our folks up to be able to work from home. In just a 2 to 3 week period of time, we had basically everybody that needed to work from home set up and ready to go. Then, as those steps were taking place, we immediately focused on how can we help our customers? How can we help our communities? Our teams went to work on developing creative ways to support our customers, both residential and business, who are dealing with the pandemic impacts of businesses being closed or temporarily shut down and the resulting job loss and furloughs. Our team developed the community support plan, as well as creative payment options to help our customers navigate the very difficult challenges of COVID. We have helped more than 20,000 customers, and over 1,000 of those were business customers, with over $3 million in financial help. We also expanded our income qualified program from 125% of the federal poverty level to 200%, and made it much easier for customers to apply for aid with the intent to reach more of our customers in need. Over the past 9 to 10 months, our CSRs have literally made thousands of calls to our customers who have been struggling to figure out the best way for them to manage their PUD bills through the COVID crisis. Also, our human resources group developed and managed an extensive contract tracing process and protocols. And I know, as many of you have done, you put the safety protocols in place for COVID, the mask wearing, the hand washing, the social distancing. And as part of that, we made almost 2,000 face masks by 119 volunteer PUD employees for both employees and families. And in addition, our volunteer mask makers made approximately 120 child-sized masks that went out to the community. And as construction was reopened, we worked with the Master Builders Association, the communities, and other developers across the county to ramp back up work on building the electric and water infrastructure needed to continue the strong development market in Snohomish County, as well as our own critical system improvements and reliability projects. So I know many of you have heard the saying, necessity is the mother of invention. I believe the pandemic brought that in droves. We haven't just survived the pandemic, but we have absolutely improved on what we do. We continue to deliver reliable and environmentally sustainable power and water, and we did it safely with strict COVID procedures. We move forward on critical projects that promise to reshape the grid, and we engage with our community like never before. And a couple additional items that came from our exceptionally creative employees. We hosted a holiday lighting exchange in which customers drove up in their cars and swapped their energy hogging incandescent holiday lights for energy efficient LEDs. We had over 1,500 customers drive through our parking lot on California Street, and we distributed over 2,000 strands of lights. We also reimagined our public education program to help teachers craft classroom lessons on energy topics that they could do over Zoom. At the end of the day, the safety and health of our employees and our customers remained paramount. So I'm sure all of you had remember the storm we had in January just a few weeks ago, and it took out power to over 200,000 customers. We immediately had crews in the field armed with the additional COVID PPE and safety guidelines. And we really did have significant damage throughout our service territory. We had over 300 jobs, and many of these are not simply putting wire back up in the air. Many are replacing down poles, replacing transformers, pretty significant work. We also leveraged mutual aid crews from 6 of our fellow public power utilities. So also, when most people think of storm response, they think of the folks in these pictures you see here, linemen, which do a phenomenal job in the restoration efforts. But there is tremendous support, a tremendous support network that spools up after every heavy storm hits it. And this time, as part of our pandemic plan, they did everything remotely, and they didn't miss a beat. Again, I am so proud of our folks we have made some significant improvements over the past couple of years in our storm response. And even with the pandemic going on, with all of the COVID safety guidelines in place, we were able to jump into restoration efforts right away and get customers back in power quicker than we ever have before. In fact, a storm of that magnitude in the past would have left some customers out of power for a week or more. In this restoration effort, we had everyone back on in just 4 days. Environmental stewardship. So with a history of the PUD of avoiding, minimizing, and mitigating environmental impacts, we have long been a champion of environmental sustainability. And it all starts with our commissioners. We have adopted a climate change policy over a decade ago and have made commitments to protecting the environment. Since 2011, staff has created and enhanced over 11,000 linear feet of side channel habitat, installed 8 engineered log jams, removed a landslide barrier to fish passage, and installed fish passage at the diversion dam that had blocked fish since 1929. The latest effort was a water temperature conditioning project to provide enhanced water temperatures to resident fish and migrating salmon below the base of Calmback Dam during droughts and future climate change conditions. Our natural resources team has worked to preserve 500+ acres of old growth forest here in Snohomish County. Our fish and wildlife biologists have built habitat to improve fish spawning in rivers and creeks. And our environmental affairs group works to minimize the impact of our electrical equipment, both in design and practice. Our vegetation management teams do their part in reducing the potential for wildfires, trying to prevent the contact with power lines and tree fall power outages. And this is done through tree trimming, planting native and non-invasive vegetation, using pollinator-safe maintenance techniques, and employing the right plant, right place philosophy for tree planting. Promoting environmental stewardship and sustainability is part of our strategic priorities. And that means it affects what we do in our daily operations, in our services to our customers, and how we plan for the future. And we are also working hard to help customers meet their own carbon reduction goals. And these are just a few of the many notable projects and actions we have taken to further our commitment to creating an environmentally sustainable future for generations to come. So as many utilities across the country promise to get to 100% clean energy by 2040 and beyond, the PUD is blessed with a power supply that is already 98% clean. That means when you plug in your electric vehicle at night, your car is powered by energy that is clean, renewable, and responsibly sourced. In Snohomish County, our Jackson Hydro project is a clean resource that powers the equivalent of approximately 54,000 homes. But it also helps deliver clean drinking water to many homes and businesses in our region. The Qualco Energy Biodigester, located in Monroe, generates energy from a mix of waste products, including cow manure, restaurant trap grease, expired alcohol and soda, and other bio wastes. The facility generates 300 average kilowatts annually. And we have also heavily invested in rooftop solar and in wind farms in Central Washington and Oregon. And in 2018, we built the largest community solar array in the state. So I'd ask each of you, how can we help you meet your sustainability goals? And the PUD is not only a leader in carbon-free energy, but also moving forward on projects and programs that will make us a leader in technology and grid innovation. The Arlington microgrid, which we intend to cut the ribbon on this summer, will demonstrate how we can use solar power and batteries to create an emergency backup system and use bidirectional electric vehicle chargers to not only charge cars, but use electric vehicles to power buildings. These vehicle-to-grid chargers will be the first of their kind in the nation. And as I mentioned earlier, our Connect Up project will bring advanced meters to every home in our service area. These meters and the network will not only give customers more data on energy usage and make our services efficient and easy to use, but they will allow them to take part in innovative new programs to help save money and energy. It's also a chance to incentivize our customers' good behavior around when they use energy. It enables so many benefits, it is absolutely a game changer for us. And speaking of electric vehicles, we are going all in. We know that the growth of electric vehicles in our service area will be exponential in the next decade, and it's imperative we plan for that boom. Our electric vehicles team is strategizing how to meet that demand for more power, while also how best to invest in charging technology in our community and help customers install chargers at their homes. These are all huge changes and important to our future as we look towards meeting the requirements of the state's Clean Energy Transformation Act. What an exciting time to be part of Snohomish County. The growth and development, the new businesses coming, many existing businesses expanding, and let's face it, the best place in the country to live. We are supporting the Port of Everett as construction booms along the waterfront and the riverfront. We're helping ensure the future Linwood Transit Station and the trains have power, and you can see the tremendous progress they're making as you drive down I-5. In Arlington, right next door to our microgrid and the future community office, the Cascadia Industrial Center is booming, with news of Project Roxy and other tenants planning to build facilities within its boundaries. And we make every effort to meet our commercial and business customers, our regional transit and local governments where they are. We are working with Everett Transit to get more electric buses in their fleet, and we work with Boeing to make plane building as energy efficient as possible. In fact, we engaged business and community leaders directly during our most recent integrated resource planning process. And the integrated resource planning process is just a fancy utility term for our future power supply. Our key accounts does an excellent job engaging with our business customers to ensure we can support their needs. And we also continue to have quarterly breakfasts with our commercial and industrial customers to make sure we are in sync on, again, their needs and how we can best support them going forward. And we do all of this to ensure we can continue to support economic development in Snohomish County and Camino Island. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to skim over this slide, but it's pointing out a few of the regional and national awards and recognition we have received. So once we log off today, I'd like you to remember three things. First, the PUD is in a great place financially and is a very stable organization. Two, we have powered through the pandemic and we will come out the other side better than ever. We are poised to deliver exceptional value, excellent reliability, and we will continue to excel in our environmental sustainability efforts. And three, we are a powerful community asset and we are working diligently as we move towards the future. And I apologize, I have to reboot my computer. We are working diligently to be your utility of the future that you love to brag about, in spite of my technology issues. Finally, I want to show this video we made for our customers as part of our thank you campaign. And I'd like to add my thank you for being patient with us as we flexed and changed with the rest of the world. I am so proud of our employees for their achievements during the pandemic. We continue to keep the lights on and water flowing. And we also strive to make all of our customers proud to call the PUD their utility. And when you're visiting family and friends outside of Snohomish County and Camino Island, I want you to be able to brag about your utility that provides you outstanding value, phenomenal reliability, is helping create a sustainable environment, and is an amazing community partner. Thank you. Gary, I think we are, if you're willing,
Yes.
ready to open it up for some questions, as long as they're easy ones.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. We do have an initial question from Dan. Is SNOCO PUD actively engaged in conversations with leveraging its right of way to extend high-speed internet to rural areas?
So that is a great question. And we are, we've actually put a team together at the PUD, and we are taking a deep dive into assessing if we have and can play a role in the underserved or unserved broadband, our customers with broadband. We have started that. We still have a ways to go on the due diligence, but hopefully within the next 6 months to a year, we will have a pretty good idea if that's a space that we can play and potentially help in that regard.
Awesome. One other question we have, based on the recent issues in Texas, power outages and rolling blackouts, I guess the question would be, what are your thoughts on this and any concerns we should have?
So, yeah, that's an interesting and very similar to what happened in California, although for different reasons. So let me first just touch on, and I'm sure many of you know what actually took place in Texas, and I'll try to do it in as simple a terms or straightforward as possible. So Texas obviously had some unusually cold weather, which raised the need for electricity, but also during a time where many of their gas plants were offline due to maintenance, or their power plants were offline, as well as the exceptionally cold temperatures froze up the gas, so they couldn't run the gas plants. And you don't have the wind and solar this time of the year. So all of that combined, they had almost 70% of their generation offline, and it just put them in a bad place. We work both as Snohomish County PUD, as well as across the region, really work hard to identify and ensure that we have adequate resources for power supply. And I would never say never, right? Because the unusual climate conditions and things that have certainly changed over the years, but we are really diligent in how we are preparing to meet those energy and capacity needs for our customers. And we actually have a regional effort going on right now with Bonneville and many of our peers around the region, looking at resource adequacy to ensure that not just now, but in the future, as we continue to move to a clean energy future, that we have adequate power supply.
Okay, great answer. We appreciate that. We have another question from John. Do you have any concern with the idea of removing Lower Snake River federal dams? How would this impact the PUD and its customers?
Oh, another fantastic question. So I'm sure many of you have seen Congressman Simpson put out a concept or a framework. And I want to start with that. It really isn't about removing the Lower Snake River dams, although I know that is a big component of it. And I'll touch on that in a little bit. That's really an attempt to try to end all the litigation and really the salmon wars. And how do we get to a future where we have salmon recovery and wildlife recovery? And we have partnered with many of our peers in the region. And we're at the place right now where we are studying the Simpson concept or Simpson framework. We're evaluating, the dollars that he has in that proposal. We're trying to think of all the different angles of how this would impact both our PUD and the electric system region-wide. And that's really where we are. We're reviewing, we're assessing, we're partnering with our peers, both our PUD peers, as well as our industry partners in the region, to assess how this would look.
Okay. We have another question from Nathan. Are there things we as the public can do to help use our resources more responsibly? Are there one or two things that you suggest we can improve on as consumers? So,
another great question. Well, a couple things. One, I would we have folks at the PUD that love to reach out and work with customers on, weatherization type of items. Certainly, the low-hanging fruit is buying LED light bulbs, and we even provide incentives. You can go to your local Costco and and other retailers and buy the light bulbs. Simple things like that are again, great for the environment, great for lowering your energy use and ultimately your bill.
Okay. I have another question for you, John. What excites you about the new energy future? And I know you touched on it briefly, what PUD does, but what about you? What excites you about those things?
Well, a lot, Gary. And again, I've been at this a while, and I will say, just maybe one for being in the Pacific Northwest, coupled with just over the last few years, and some of the technology that has become available. You think about, again, the connect up and us being able to connect with our customers in a way where in the future we can provide incentives. You think about the gamification type of things where we can send a signal if we need energy or capacity on a cold winter night and we know prices are going to be high. We can send a signal and say, hey, if you turn down your thermostat a couple degrees, we'll send you a $25 gift certificate, or we'll knock some money off your bill, and actually give people the opportunity to play in that space. You have the other electric vehicles and distributed resources like the rooftop solar, where again we can use those to provide incentives for our customers, where they get the opportunity to engage and help the environment, help themselves save money. Again, those types of things where we actually have the ability to serve our customers and support our customers and meet them where they want to be as far as environmental sustainability, how they can save money, all those things. To me, that's a whole different paradigm for the utility world, and it's exciting.
Yeah, I want to recap one of your comments you made about Snake River federal dams. I'm a huge fan of salmon, and so it's one of the reasons why I decided to move out here. Was I had some of the best salmon ever when I met with Bill McSherry at his home, and so very important to maintain and sustain that. Another question for you, though: what battery technology are you planning on using for the substation energy storage?
So another great question. The battery that's being installed up in Arlington is a lithium-ion battery. Our first two batteries were lithium-ion. We did install a vanadium flow battery in Everett. Things didn't work out as well as we had hoped with that, and we were partnering with the manufacturer to think about how they can provide their new style battery to replace those and the new technology. But the one that's going in the microgrid is a lithium-ion battery.
Okay.
Great question.
And I have a question for me from Nathan. How many bow ties do I own? Thanks, Nathan. I think I'm close to about 32 or so, give or take a few that I've given out to previous board members to say farewell, but definitely a fan of the bow ties and willing to show people how to tie them. So great question. Another question for you, and this is kind of a glass ball question. So where do you see Snohomish PUD in the next 25 years? What will it look like?
So again, I think that goes off of the question of what's exciting about the utility industry, which has traditionally been a pretty boring industry. But I picture 25 years from now where we have the technology that both battery technology or other storage technology, where there's the ability for homes and or customers to actually manage their energy use in an automated fashion and to do all the things that would create energy efficiency, lower consumption, again maximize value and or minimize bills, could be done automatically from the home onto the grid and back. So you think about an autonomous energy supply that is all being operated, systematically to maximize, again, conservation, lowering costs, all those things.
Okay, and I want to give you a fun question here. This is partly tied to what you shared earlier before we all got on, but you have mentioned that there may have been some famous NBA Hall of Famer of which you defended one time in a basketball game. Can you share a little bit about who that person was and how many points you scored on them?
uh, yeah, that was Larry Bird, and it was in a pickup game. Larry was a couple years ahead of me in school, and we happened to cross paths with some of the summer ball that we played on different teams. And do I really have to tell you how many points he scored on me, or did you say the other way around?
The other way around. I was trying to give you some props.
Good. Let's not talk about, because I never really played much defense anyway. So I did. I don't remember exactly, but I'm sure I got my shots off. Whether they went in or not, I don't know. But you know, I always went off the advice one of my coaches gave me is shoot till you miss and shoot till you make. So I was always shooting.
Awesome. And I have another question for you. How is PUD planning for electric vehicles and electrification as a whole?
So another great question, and we touched on it a little bit earlier, but we have a team that is dedicated to really assessing all the different elements to electric vehicles. That is in part planning for our grid. So if you think about where electric vehicles will be sited on our system, and we're working with Intel on how to figure that out, you know, in certain parts of our service territory, and to ensure we have the capacity and the energy to be able to provide those electric vehicles. Also to use those electric vehicles in the future to actually help put power back on the grid. But we're working with agencies on where to site electric vehicle chargers. We've got 2 coming, fast chargers that will be installed on the north side of our California Street main office building. And that will start construction here this summer. And again, working on incentives and other means to help further promote electric vehicles. Now, the overall electrification, that takes it to another level as far as, again, being able to meet the needs of electrification. And we're doing lots of things on our system, evaluating, again, the penetration of where the electric vehicles and or electrification takes place and how to best manage that. But again, from a climate and an environmental perspective, that's the direction we want to head. And we really have a pretty conservative effort on that front.
Awesome.
That's a great question.
Yeah, another follow-up question. This is new in the news today. SolarWinds, there was obviously a security breach there, but was PUD impacted at all or affected?
We were not affected directly or significantly, and we do have folks on our team, on the Snohomish PUD team, that are engaged in those processes. And actually, again, our IT division and our cyber division have really done some outstanding things. We are actually recognized nationally for our cybersecurity efforts, and many of the platforms that we have put in place to help from a cybersecurity standpoint. And so we are engaged in that process of evaluating and figuring out how to better secure from those types of things in the future.
Okay, well, you have given us a whole range of topics to discuss and to learn from, and it's just been a very interesting and intriguing conversation to have. PUD is actually more engaging than most people probably realize, and so we want to leave you with some closing remarks, John, if you have any.
I'll just again really appreciate, Gary, the opportunity to chat with folks this morning, and again look forward to how can we best serve our communities. And we encourage that feedback. We want to hear from our business customers, our communities. How can we best help partner, again, from an electric and water utility perspective, but also from just a good community partner perspective? What can we do to continue to have the right outreach and collaboration to continue to build Snohomish County for the future.
All right. Well, thank you so much, John. You've been a valuable asset to the community as well as PUD. So we thank you for the updates. We also want to appreciate all of you for joining us today, and be sure to look for invites to future events. And also know that we have the economic forecast coming up February 25th at 8 a.m. So please join us, and that is presented by Banner Bank. Also, we want to make sure that we highlight the Snohomish STEM Summit, March 2nd at 12 p.m. And this is awesome because it's about inspiring innovation and tapping into the young potential professionals that are a part of Snohomish County as well. And so we want to give a special shout out to the PUD for their engagement with the Snohomish STEM Network and their programming that inspires our next generation to pursue STEM careers. Our next coffee chat is Leading in Uncertain Times, March 2nd at 8:30 a.m. Please visit economicalliancesc.org to register. And with that being said, folks, I appreciate you all joining us today. John, as always, can't wait to see your wicked jump shot one day. And everyone have a great day. Take care.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you all.